Hello and welcome to the Hair with Dino show. Today we're at the Sequence Service Center and I want everyone to follow me because I want to go into one of the technician rooms. I have a couple subjects I want to go over with you. Come on, follow me. So this is the Sequence Service Center and there's two issues I want to talk about. One, some celebrities wear something called a lace front. You've probably heard of lace front wigs, and some people bring them up. My clients bring them up. Lace front wigs, are they good? How are they good? I want to explain some details about front hairlines. And secondly, in reference to hair, what I want to do is explain something about the oil glands, because a lot of my clients ask me about the scalp and how often they should shampoo their hair and what is too much shampooing and what is too little. So we're going to cover both of these issues. So right now, let's cover about lace front wigs. There's some details that are missed. A lot of my clients go over this, they ask me over and over, so I want to give some clarity. Lace front wigs is using a lace, and I have a sample of it right here. It's going to be a little hard to see, but it's similar to like a lady stocking. It sits on the skin or on the scalp. Look, if it goes against my skin or my hair here, I don't know if you can see that well, if the camera can see that well, but they look very natural. Although, there's some details you have to know about lace front wigs. Number one, it's a wig. A wig goes on top of your hair. Now, that's okay if you don't mind covering your hair, but you have to realize your existing hair is being covered. The second point is very important. They only work if you have no hair in the hairline. If you have any sort of hair in the hairline, it will not work. Lace front wigs is for putting hair in front of an area where it has no hair. So if you're thinking of a lace front wig, it's good to a point. It's not good if you don't realize it's going to cover your hair, and it's not going to work if you have any hair in the front hairline. It has to be put forward. Okay? There's another thing too. Lace front wigs, you have to watch the tonality of the lace. If you have light skin or dark skin, if the lace doesn't match, it'll show up. And another issue is you have to watch that lace front wigs have single ventilation. Some of them cheat a little bit and they don't have single ventilation. Single ventilation means hand tying hair one hair at a time onto the lace. Alright, and if that's not done, it's not going to look that natural. But the most important thing, this lace right here, it's not that practical. It's very delicate, and when you pull it too hard, there's a possibility of it ripping. Oh, meaning like that. That's exactly what happens. So you have to be careful with lace front wigs because they can tear, like I accidentally just ripped this one, okay? There is something more advanced, something that we have exclusively at Sequence. It's called a flex strand, alright? Flex strand, similar to lace. I'm going to show it to you with hair and without hair. Similar to lace, but more practical because the flex strand material is more transparent, blends into more different skin tones, and also at the same time is more durable, much more stronger. So here's an example of, let's see if you can see it. Here's a part of it that just has the area with no hair. Hold it against my face, hold it against my hairline if you can see that. There's part of the material with no hair on it, and there's another part that does have hair on it, okay? And you'll notice, if I even just hold that against my forehead, it should blend right into my skin tone. And you'll see the area where there's no hair and this area where there's hair. So this is called a flex, and this flex is also for a bald area. Although, because Sequence invented the blending strand, which adds hair in between your hair, we can add hair in between your hair in the area where you have hair, and if you have an area with no hair, we then add the flex. Now we have two different skin tones with the flex. We have a skin tone for a light skin tone, and then we have another skin tone for a dark skin tone, which you'll see that doesn't necessarily match my skin tone, But on a darker skin tone, it'll match. All of these flexes, they're one single hair at a time. And there's a certain way we lock hair on to the flex. Remember, the flex strand blends into the skin, and there's one hair at a time. I want you to look really close, like I'm looking. Put your eyeballs right in like this and look right in. If you look straight in like that, it should look like one hair at a time is coming directly out of the scalp. The flex material blends right into the skin, and then all you see is single hairs coming out individually. So take a close look at that. And you see how it blends in. That way the flex blends into any skin tone, which is very, very important. It starts beautiful natural hairlines. So if you need a hairline or start of a hairline, the flex is the way to go. Next, we're going to talk about what's called your oily scalp, or how often you should be shampooing your scalp. And we'll be right with you. Thank you. Okay, now we want to talk about shampooing and also your scalp. A lot of my clients continually ask me, how often should I shampoo? Can you shampoo too much? Can you shampoo too little? I hear it all the time. So I want to clear some things up about the health of shampooing your own hair, okay? There's a lot of products out there, and I'm not going to get into each individual product, but what I do want to explain is something about your oil gland. There's a gland underneath your scalp called a sebaceous gland, which is your oil gland. And that's one of the components or reason why you shampoo your hair, because your scalp gets oily. It does get dirty from the elements in the air, but it does get oily from your oil glands, from the sebaceous gland. Now here's something you should know, technical, but it's going to give you a nice clarity of what's going on in your scalp. I want you to look at this. If we look at this, this is underneath your scalp right here. This is your scalp, my hand is your scalp, and underneath is the bulb. It's the bulb in which your hair fits in. So if your hair fits into the bulb like this, there's these little fibers in between the wall of the bulb of which your hair sits in underneath your scalp. And these fibers hold the hair in place. Underneath this bulb there is your sebaceous gland, which is your oil gland. The oil gland fills the bulb up while the hair is inside the bulb. And here's the remarkable thing. The oil glands within that bulb deteriorate the fiber that's holding the hair in place, and deteriorates it to a point which will make that hair fall out. So what does all that mean? It means that you should wash your hair properly to make sure that you clear the oil gland or the oil pocket out. Because if your hair sits in your natural oils, it actually deteriorates your hair, or the hair fiber that holds the hair in. That's what's important to understand. So don't necessarily think that your oil glands or your natural oils are good, okay? They might be good for rubbing on your hair, but they're not good sitting on your scalp. Now, you've heard of dry scalp. Some people have dry scalps because they have an overactive sebaceous gland / oil gland. And those oils come up out of the pocket and layer onto the scalp and cause dryness and you get layers of dryness, and that's how you get flakiness. So a lot of times a dry scalp is from an overactive oil gland, and when that happens you need shampoos that'll clean that very well, okay? So always be cautious. Now let's talk about how often you should shampoo. Here's the answer. It's different with everyone, but I'm going to give you a baseline to go by. You should shampoo your hair at least a couple times a week, all right? And you shouldn't go any more than 2 weeks, all right? In most cases, up to a week. But here's the more important part, is that you should shampoo as often as you as an individual needs it. When you feel your scalp is dirty, whether it's flaky, whether it's oily. I don't care if it's 1 day or 2 weeks or 1 week or 4 days. That's the time you should shampoo. Alright? So that's how often you should shampoo. About shampoos too, in shampoos there's something called sodium chloride, which in essence is salt. And they put that in shampoos, in most shampoos, because what it does, it cleans the scalp and hair very well. But also sometimes it strips it a little bit. So you have to watch what you're using, okay? There are shampoos without sodium chloride that are a little bit more conditioning, alright? Now, about washing your hair, if you wash your scalp and you scrub it too hard, what's going to happen, you can make the oil gland overactivate and cause it to activate and re-dirty your hair faster. So sometimes if you use a shampoo that is heavy with detergent, and if you scrub the hair really vigorously or the scalp very vigorously, what's going to happen is that you're going to stimulate that oil gland to reproduce more oils, therefore making your hair more oily faster. Okay, in reference to the proper way of shampooing, it sounds simple, but a lot of people don't shampoo properly. Here's the way you should shampoo. First of all, and be wet the client's hair down, as you would if you're doing it in the shower or you're doing it in the salon. And even hairdressers sometimes shampoo the hair improperly. Sounds strange, but it happens to be true. When you shampoo, what you're supposed to do is get a film of shampoo on your hand like that. Get a film on, and then stroke it through the hair. Really, all you have to do is put it into the scalp. A lot of people pick up the hair and put shampoo on the shaft. You don't need to at all. The shampoo from the scalp runs through the hair and cleans the shaft automatically. No doing this kind of stuff. Alright? First of all, it doesn't need it. Second of all, you have a higher probability of possibly tangling the hair, even if it's just slight. And you don't want to put any sort of tangling in the hair, because to get it out, you have to pull. And one more thing I want to say, when you use conditioner, you put conditioner also the same way, just distribute it through, and the conditioner will run its way right down to the ends. So remember the proper way of shampooing. It'll be a great help to you. See you soon. Always remember, you start from the top. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
To audition and become a guest or model on the Hair with Dino show, email us at amc@sequencehair.com or call 1-888-253-6388 and ask for AMC.